The city of Portland, Oregon, was a place where rain was more of a companion than a nuisance. Streets often glistened with silver puddles, and coffee shops hummed with the sound of typewriters, laptops, and late-night conversations. Hidden in one of its quieter corners was Marigold Books, an old family-run bookstore with shelves so tall they seemed to lean in, whispering secrets to anyone who walked inside. It was here that Emily Carter, a 25-year-old aspiring novelist, spent most of her free hours. Emily had always been drawn to the smell of old paper, the way book spines aged like memories, and the comfort of being surrounded by words that had survived time. She had moved to Portland a year earlier, leaving behind the bustle of Chicago and the weight of expectations she couldn't quite carry. Marigold Books was her refuge, but more than that, it became the stage for a story she never expected. One rainy Thursday afternoon, Emily sat cross-legged on the floor in the fiction aisle, balancing a notebook on her knees. The bell above the shop's door chimed softly, and she glanced up to see a man step inside. He looked a little lost. Dark brown hair damp from the drizzle, a jacket too light for the weather, and a backpack slung carelessly over one shoulder. He paused by the entrance, studying the shelves as though he had entered another world. "First time here?" Emily asked without thinking. The man looked over, surprised, then smiled faintly. "Is it that obvious?" "Only a little," Emily replied, closing her notebook. "Most people who wander in here already know exactly where they're going. You look like you're searching for something you haven't found yet." He tilted his head, considering her words. "Maybe I am. I'm Daniel Hayes, by the way." "Emily," she said. He gave a polite nod, then ran his hand along a row of books. "This place feels different, like it's holding on to more than just stories." Emily smiled. "That's because it is." Over the next few weeks, Emily noticed that Daniel kept coming back. Sometimes he browsed, sometimes he read for hours in the corner armchair, and sometimes he simply sat with a cup of coffee from the cafe next door, watching the rain blur the world outside the window. One evening, when the shop was nearly empty, Daniel dropped into the chair across from her. "You're always writing," he said. "What's it about?" Emily hesitated. Sharing her writing always made her nervous, but something about his tone felt genuine, curious, not judging. "It's about a girl," she began slowly, "who finds a book that writes back to her." Daniel's eyebrows lifted. "Writes back?" "Every time she writes in its pages," Emily explained, "the book answers her, sometimes with advice, sometimes with warnings. She doesn't know if it's magic or if she's losing her mind." "That sounds incredible," he said softly, "but also lonely." Emily looked at him curiously. "Why lonely?" "Because," he replied, "it means she's waiting for words from something that isn't real, instead of from someone who is." For a moment, Emily didn't know what to say. His words cut deeper than she expected, almost as if he wasn't just talking about her character, but about himself. It wasn't long before Emily discovered the truth behind Daniel's quiet demeanor. He wasn't just wandering into bookshops to pass the time. He had come to Portland searching for something he had lost. One night, when rain hammered against the windows, Daniel finally told her. "My mom used to own a bookstore," he said, voice low. "Not here, back in Denver. It was the kind of place where she believed every book had a soul. But after she passed, I couldn't keep it running. I sold it, and I regretted it every day since." Emily's heart softened. She saw the way his eyes clouded when he spoke of it, the way his fingers tapped restlessly on the table, as if remembering the feel of spines he could no longer touch. "That's why you come here," she realized. "You're looking for pieces of what you lost." Daniel nodded. Books were her way of speaking when she couldn't find the right words. I guess I keep hoping I'll hear her voice again in places like this. Emily didn't know how to answer, so she simply placed her notebook on the table between them. Then maybe, she said gently, you should help me write mine. Their evenings at Marigold Books grew into something unspoken yet strong. Emily wrote, Daniel read, and together they began building a story that blurred the line between fiction and truth. But one evening, Emily discovered something strange. Tucked between two history volumes, she found an old leather-bound book with no title on the cover. Inside, its pages were blank. She turned it over, puzzled, then placed it in her bag without knowing why. That night, she opened the book at her apartment and wrote a single line inside. Do you hear me? The next morning, when she checked again, new words had appeared beneath hers. Yes, I've always been listening.